Alright, hey guys, so this is weird. I usually interrupt Luke instead of starting off the video, but in this video I want to shine light on something that really interests me. Well, maybe not shine light per se, as the video is about the Darkest Zelda game within the series. Now, this topic can be controversial to many, as this is really subjective, right? But is it really? Nintendo has sometimes taken a dark and twisted turn with their games, which I find extremely captivating. Despair gives me nothing but joy. Sadly, it always comes to an end, regardless of how bad things look. Why does good always have to prevail in games, you know? I mean, the perfect example is displayed in their latest Zelda game. With Breath of the Wild, the game's start is completely hopeless, with Hyrule's hero defeated, its champions killed off, and the kingdom overrun by evil. As Calamity Ganon is about to prevail. But luckily for them, thanks to the goddess's reincarnation of that era, Princess Zelda is able to keep the evil at bay until Link awakens from his 100-year-long nap to save the day. Pretty damn convenient how Zelda could hold him off for exactly 100 years for the hero to take the longest nap in history just to prepare for this battle. It's a tragic start, but ends in a peaceful way. I love tragedies. A hopeless beginning is always so fun to witness, but sadly, evil always comes to an end with these games. There is always a happy ending, and I'm sick of it. So what if I told you that that isn't always the case? Yes, there happens to be one Zelda game that no matter what happens, in the end, it doesn't even matter. I mean, it ends horribly no matter what the outcome is. But which game is it? I mean, it's obvious if you really think about it, so f*** it, no need to drag this any longer. The game I want to talk about is Majora's Mask. If you were thinking Twilight Princess, well, you're wrong. While visually the game is the darkest as the land gets taken over by Twilight, shrouding Hyrule into darkness, the game's resolution still ends well for the heroes. But what about Majora's Mask? From the very beginning to the very end of the game, tragedies everywhere. And this will be my absolute joy to talk about the many terrible fates within the Darkest Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask is a doomed game from the very start. You come into a land that only has 3 days left before the moon crashes, destroying everything. Luckily, Link has as much time on his side to stop it. But that isn't the only terrible fate Link must deal with. From even before Link arrives to Termina, things don't look too good for him. So, Majora's Mask's start is a bit different than most Zelda games. The game is a direct sequel to Ocarina of Time, following the hero after he was sent into the past to relive his childhood, as he devoted it to become the hero of time. Not sure if Link was too happy about that outcome, but he sets out to find a long-lost friend, Navi. Along his way, he stumbles upon the Skull Kid with Tattle and Tail. They startle him along with the opponent to steal Link's ocarina and run off with his horse. Great way to start a new adventure, huh? As Link sets out to chase the Skull Kid turns him into a Deku Scrub. For a hero, things aren't looking too good for him. But why did the Skull Kid turn him into a Deku Scrub out of all things? You see, this is where it gets much more interesting. As when Link is forced to continue through the narrow pathway that leads to Termina, he finds a weird-looking tree sprout along the way. It resembles Link to an extent as a Deku Scrub. And well, after getting further into the game, it all makes sense. That dead-looking tree sprout thing was killed, and his spirit is what caused Link to take form of the Deku Scrub. You are later reassured of all this when you meet the father of that helpless scrub, it being the Deku Butler found in the Deku Palace. He tries racing Link when he first sees him as a Deku Scrub, as he is reminded of his son, which he used to always race with. Little does he know, his son can't move anymore, and Link is wearing his son's spirit as a mask. Ha! You even find him in the game's credits literally mourning what's left of his son. Sadly, without his spirit, he's just a piece of wood. Too bad for him, but it's sure funny how that happened. I mean, was the Butler's son just playing out at the wrong time and became the perfect tool for Skull Kid to use on Link? Also, how did the Skull Kid extract his soul from his body, causing it to change Link's appearance? It really makes you question the evil powers of the mask, Majora's Mask. Though you later realize that that mask isn't the only thing that can cause that. As the original owner of the mask, the Happy Mask Salesman, before it was robbed by the Skull Kid, teaches Link the Song of Healing, which does the same thing the mask does to those who need healing. He teaches this to Link in order to help him retrieve the mask back from the Skull Kid. So with the Song of Healing, Link is able to turn those who need healing into a mask. It really makes you wonder if he's actually healing them, or trapping their soul into a mask. But anyway, since Link discovers the butler's son already dead and withered, you can't really tell how he once looked. But when playing the Elegy of Emptiness with the mask on, it will show the spirit's true form, as when merged with Link, it usually takes features from Link. But boy, with or without Link's features, he sure didn't seem like a threat when he was alive. I mean, he is more scary as this damn dead withered thing. I think the Skull Kid did what's best for this thing. He wouldn't have survived the fiery hell the moon would have caused when crashing down. Think of it this way, the Skull Kid did him a favor, having him avoid an even worse fate. A fate where the world burns into ashes. Okay, I need you to stop. At first I was gonna let this video slide, but how cruel are you, man? You're acting like a psychopath. Like you're talking about tragedies in Zelda, and acting like you're telling the funniest story ever. Well, duh. I mean, that's why I'm making this video, to laugh at the despair of others. Why else would I be talking about this? I get that you're the dark version of me, but you need to have some sympathy, even if it's just a game. Sure, but I was talking about a damn piece of wood. Are you really upset over a fucking tree? Come on now. Are you really gonna cry over a plank? I don't think you get it. Let me continue with this for the time being. So as mentioned, the Skull Kid had cursed a Deku Butler's son, taking his spirit and turning Link into a Deku Scrib with it. While this is pretty much the first disaster for Link to come across, this doesn't even scratch the surface of how much catastrophe the Skull Kid had done to Termina. As when Link first arrives to Termina through the back entrance of the clock tower, he meets the Happy Mask salesman, who tells him about the Skull Kid and how he stole the Majora's Mask from him, getting these evil powers and spreading it throughout Termina itself. He then begs for Link to do whatever he can to get it back, as if he doesn't, the fate of everyone will be at stake. And this is no joke, as the second you walk into Termina, you notice a creepy giant moon staring down at you. From that moment, you're only given 3 days to somehow save everyone from the Skull Kid's doing and stop the moon from crashing. The amount of pressure that is all of a sudden put on Link is insane. Luckily, thanks to his Ocarina of Time, which he is able to get back from the Skull Kid, he's able to control and rewind time at his will, preventing the moon from falling until he can stop it himself. But man, outside the moon crashing and killing everyone, Link sure has a lot on his plate when it comes to solving all the mischiefs that Skull Kid has done for the people of Termina. Similar to the Deku Butler's son having his spirit turned into a mask, the same fate happens to several other people, which are also turned into masks for Link. 2 of them are in very similar situations to the Deku Mask, as their spirits will serve to transform Link into what they once were, those being the Goron and Zora Mask. The Goron Mask is from the spirit of Darmani III. Darmani was a renowned Goron hero, who was considered to be the greatest warrior of his tribe, until he ended up in a terrible accident when making his way to Snowhead Mountain. As he was searching for the cause behind the snowstorm which was threatening his people, on his way Darmani was knocked off his path into the blizzard, causing him to fall to his death. The thing that knocked him off was actually Bagoron. Yes, sadly one of his own kind accidentally killed him, as Bagoron for some reason was invisible during the storm, causing those to approach the mountain not to see where or how the blizzard was caused, which led to Bagoron accidentally blowing Darmani off the mountain. While this isn't confirmed, it was most likely that Skull Kid was behind Bagoron being invisible, as he was on the mountain itself freezing over, causing a hazard for those who approached the mountain, not knowing what's going on. And with Darmani killed, the Gorons lose hope, as their greatest warrior was killed off. Luckily, with Link showing up, he is able to find Darmani's uneasy spirit and help him soothe his sorrows, removing him from the guilt he has, as it's too late for him to do anything for his people now. He must come to terms that they will either freeze to death or someone else will find a solution, because his time is gone. So, with Link playing him the Song of Healing to soothe his sorrows, it converts Darmani's spirit into the Goron Mask, allowing Link to transform into a Goron that resembles him, while also giving him the powers to complete his task for him. This also leaves the Goron tribe to mistake Link as their hero, not knowing the tragic fate Darmani suffered for them. The Zora Mask, on the other hand, is obtained through Mikau's spirit. Mikau was the lead guitarist in the Zora band the Indogogos. He was also known as a Zoran hero, though his death as well was surprisingly not the Skull Kid's doing. It was actually by the Gerudo Pirates. as they had stolen Lulu's eggs, which caused Mikau to risk his life to retrieve them. Lulu was a close friend to Mikau and the lead singer of the Indogogos. With her eggs stolen, she had lost her voice, preventing them from performing in the upcoming Carnival of Time. But Lulu, not wanting to tell Mikau what happened, she tells Evan, the band's leader and pianist. Mistakenly, Evan tells Mikau about what happened and charges him to retrieve them back. So Mikau does his best to get them back for her. Sadly, he fails, resulting in fatal injuries. There, Link finds him near the Great Bay shore and brings him to shore to hear his final song. The song requests for Link to retrieve the eggs for Lulu, as he couldn't do it himself, with then Link having to ease his regret by playing him the Song of Healing, which turns him into the Zora mask, allowing Link to take form of Mikau when wearing it, using his Zora abilities to retrieve the eggs for him and take Mikau's place for the time being, as the Zora also mistakes Link as Mikau when wearing the mask. Now, while Link has the power to rewind time to prevent the Skull Kid's mischiefs, these lives were doomed before Link could do anything. Link wouldn't have been able to save them regardless, as he arrived too late. The one fate Link can prevent before getting any worse is a sad story between a father and his daughter. Pamela and her father, a scientist who researches for supernatural phenomena, resides in the Music Box house in Akana Canyon. There, he took it upon himself to research the Gibdos that haunted the canyon. And with the music that the Music Box house produced, it kept the house safe from the threat of those Gibdos. But that didn't last for long, as throughout his research, he ends up becoming a Gibdo himself. It would have been a grim fate for the both of them if Link hadn't appeared and removed the curse with the Song of Healing. After Link lifts the curse from Pamela's father, he finally comes to realization on how foolish and dangerous his research was. He put his daughter's life on the line for his research. Reminds me of one person who risked it all, even his daughter, for his research. Though out of all the stories Link gets wrapped in, there is one he can only somewhat fix. This being the Anju and Cafe quest. This is by far my favorite side quest within Majora's Mask, as it's a beautiful love story with multiple outcomes for it. Sadly, none of the outcomes really end well for them. Anju is the keeper at the Stockpot Inn. She's engaged to Cafe, Cafe being the son of Mayor Doter and Madame Aroma. Their wedding is supposed to be during the day of the Carnival of Time, this day being the day after the moon is supposed to crash. With everyone losing hope as the moon crashing will be their doom, Anju and Cafe are still committed to be together, even if they won't make it to their wedding day. Sadly, with the Skull Kid interfering, even that wouldn't be easy for them, as Cafe was turned into a child, making him appear as his younger self, this causing him to disappear, as there was no way he could see his fiancée this way. So with his disappearance, Anju is to wonder if she should evacuate or stay in Clock Town during the final hours for him. Unable to show his face to Anju yet, he tasks Link with his pendant to ensure her that he will come for her. If Link gives her the pendant, Anju will risk her life and await Cafe in the Stockpot Inn. Sadly, Cafe is still unable to show himself, at least without the one thing he promised on their wedding day, that being his sun mask. As both Anju and Cafe promised to exchange their masks on their wedding day, and without his mask, Cafe couldn't show himself to her like this. So, with Link's help, they track down Sakon, who stole the mask, and retrieve it for him during the final hours. This sends Cafe running back to Clock Town to see Anju before it's too late. When arriving, you witness them create the couple mask out of their love, as they await for their doom together. A beautiful but sad love story. Luckily, when Link is finally able to stop the moon and prevent Termina's destruction, a wedding ceremony is held on the 4th day during the Carnival of Time. While the game never shows Cafe appearing, even if he were to appear, he'd still be a kid. Which I guess wouldn't stop them from being married, but would raise a lot of questions and issues. Regardless, the amount of depth this one side quest holds is insane, which is why it's pretty much my favorite side quest in all of the series. Though outside these many tragedies the game holds, Link does his best to correct everything for the people of Termina, even down to helping Tattle and Tail reunite after they were separated from the Skull Kid. But what makes Majora's Mask truly the Darkest Zelda game is the fate Link suffers after all of this. Link is so tied up with everyone else's issues, he forgets his own. His quest started with him looking for his long-lost friend, a friend from another lifetime, probably his only friend he could reconnect with after being sent back to relive his childhood. As Zelda's final wish in Ocarina of Time was to give Link the childhood he deserved, as he served his entire childhood in the Temple of Time to awaken as the hero of time, thus giving him the power to save Hyrule and become the renowned warrior of that time. But Zelda, pitying him, sends him back in time, creating a new timeline for him to stop Ganon from preventing what happened in Ocarina of Time. And with Link being sent back in time with all of this information, he's able to warn them, resulting in Ganondorf's execution. Though as we know, that didn't really work out from Twilight Princess. But with this, it creates a timeline split, as Zelda created a timeline without Link, sending him back in time, leaving her timeline without a hero. This pretty much resulting in Hyrule flooding, creating the events of the Wind Waker in that timeline. Wait. So you're saying Zelda's decision of trying to be nice to Link and give him a childhood really ended up fucking up everything? As she created a second timeline that resulted in the kingdom being flooded and forced Link to become a child without being recognized for his valiant efforts? What a bitch! How could she choose this for him? He was the damn hero! Well, you could consider what Zelda did to be selfless instead of selfish. She took it upon herself to leave her world without a hero, so Link can enjoy his own life. But I see where you're coming from. Like, is this what Link really wanted? I mean, throughout the start of his new life in the child timeline, he's immediately looking for his partner he knew as the hero of time. Later stumbling upon the terrible fate of Majora's Mask, he deals with that crisis, before fading away, being completely forgotten. He had lived a life as a hero, but no one knew him for that in that timeline. Not until the Hero of Twilight comes in, as the Hero of Time's spirit awaited for the next descendant to appear, so that way he can pass his knowledge to him as the Hero Shade. As in Twilight Princess's timeline following Majora's Mask, his heroic tale was never passed down, as the Hero of Time wasn't known. His tale was only passed down in the adult timeline, a tale where he went missing, resulting in Hyrule flooding because of it. So to keep his legend from completely being forgotten in the child timeline, he waits for the next hero to keep his legacy. When you really think about it, it's really sad how things turned out for the Hero of Time. As in the timeline he now resides in, no one ever knew or heard about the Hero of Time, causing Link to be filled with regret until the day would come for him to pass his legend to the next. So when thinking about it, the Hero of Time got nothing after all his hard work and was forgotten over time. He would never know the impact he had caused to Hyrule, as he was stripped from all of it thanks to Zelda. While some may think what Zelda did was the best scenario for Link, giving him a childhood, I feel like it may have been a selfish thing to do, as because of all this, she ended up creating two timelines that would eventually be doomed by Ganondorf, and erasing what was left of the Hero of Time in his own timeline, leaving Link, the Hero of Time, to lament that he was never remembered as a hero, awaiting centuries as the Hero Shade for the day he could pass down his skills to the next generation. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I want to give a huge thanks to my lovely and amazing girlfriend, Sasa. She's the one behind the Luke and Dark Luke artwork, along with the amazing thumbnail art and title card. She does tons of amazing drawings that you should totally check out. Also want to give a quick thanks to my good friend Perdemonium for the intro and outro artwork. But that about does it for this video. Let me know what your thoughts were on this. The Hero of Time was my first hero in The Legend of Zelda, as Ocarina of Time was my first Zelda game. And seeing a timeline where he's completely forgotten and regretting his past really makes you wonder. The Hero Shade sure seems to carry some regret. Regardless, I hope I brought some light on this topic for you guys, and you guys enjoyed it for what it was. I seriously had so much fun making this video, and I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. It would mean so much, as I put a lot of work into this video. As always, I've been ZeldaMaster, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hey, what about me? I was a part of this video too. Jeez.